So, you've probably seen the buzz online, a commentary video that really blew up, taking aim at the No Kings protests and that clip of Nancy Pelosi. But what was the argument really about? Well, that's what we're here to do. In this explainer, we're going to deconstruct it piece by piece using the very claims and evidence from the video itself to figure out the message it's pushing. Okay, so this quote right here, this is pretty much the heart of the whole thing. It's a really provocative statement, and it basically sets the stage for everything we're about to unpack. The source uses this as like its main weapon against a major political figure. So the big question is, how do they even begin to build that case? So, where did all this come from? It really kicked off with two things happening at once. First, you had these No Kings protests popping up across the country. And then you had Nancy Pelosi posting that short video of her snapping a plastic crown. The commentary we're breaking down, it's a direct response to both of those things.
All right, let's get into the first big argument. And it's interesting because the commentary doesn't start with Pelosi. Nope. It starts by going after the protesters themselves, really zeroing in on who it claims they are and why they're supposedly there.
And what's really striking is just how specific and honestly derogatory the labels are. The video just throws out terms like sad old boomers and degenerate communists to describe the crowd. The whole idea being pushed is that these are just people trying to relive their glory days from the 60s and 70s. You know, rhetorically, it's a pretty clear strategy. If you can discredit the people, you can try to discredit their message. And to back this up, the source makes a really specific claim. It says that protesters were literally bussed in from nursing homes and assisted living centers. And the proof they offer? Clips of older folks, some with walkers and wheelchairs.
But it wasn't just about the older protesters. The commentary then zooms in on this one clip of a young woman. When someone asks her why she's protesting, she seems, well, pretty unsure. The source holds this up as Exhibit A, arguing that, see, even the younger people there don't really have a clear reason for showing up.
Okay, so after focusing on the protesters, the video makes a hard pivot. Now we're on to its second major point, a really deep, frame-by-frame breakdown of Nancy Pelosi's groundbreaking video. And yeah, this is where things get a little technical.
The whole thing hinges on this idea of a jump cut. Now, if you're not a video editor, that's just a fancy term for a really abrupt edit in the film. The argument the commentary makes is that this jump cut was put there on purpose to hide the fact that Pelosi was supposedly struggling to break the crown. The implication is she couldn't do it on her own.
So here's the story the video tells. It shows Pelosi starting to break the crown, then it looks like she's struggling. Then, bam, there's the alleged jump cut. And right after the cut, the crown is magically in two pieces. So the conclusion the video wants you to draw is that the edit is hiding someone off camera stepping in to break it for her.
Okay, so this is really important. These two critiques, the one about the protesters and the one about the video edit, they aren't just random attacks. They're actually building blocks, all leading up to one single big accusation aimed right at Nancy Pelosi: hypocrisy.
So to build this case for hypocrisy, the video first lays out just how long she's been in politics. Look at this timeline. She first got elected way back in 1987. That means she's been in Congress for 38 years and counting. And this long career, that's presented as pillar number one of the argument.
And this right here is where they drop the bombshell comparison. The video puts her 38 years in Congress right up against the average reign of an English king, which it says is about 18 years. I mean, the visual says it all, right? The argument is that her time in power is more than double a typical king's. Okay, so pillar number two of the spurious hypocrisy argument, money. The commentary brings up this number again and again, a net worth of over $200 million. And it makes a point of saying this was accumulated while she was in office. This huge number, paired with her long career, is really the core evidence for their whole argument.
And this quote is what ties it all together. It's the big summary statement. The claim is simple. When it comes to time and power and personal wealth, she's supposedly outdone the very kings that the No Kings slogan is protesting. Then, the commentary throws in one more piece of evidence to bolster its case. It points out that not long after Pelosi posted her video, the comments were turned off. And this is presented as, see, she's trying to silence anyone who disagrees, which just adds more fuel to the fire. So they've laid out all this evidence. The protesters, the jump cut, the time in office, the money. So what's the big takeaway? What's the final message this commentary is trying to leave you with? Let's dig into that. This is where the critique really widens its lens. It goes from being just about Pelosi to being about an entire political class, which the video calls degenerate fossils. It brings up nepotism, noting her father was also a big-shot politician, implying it's some kind of dynasty. And it wraps up with this really provocative claim that the party can't inspire a new generation on its own, so it has to indoctrinate them instead.
So when you boil it all down, the commentary is basically forcing you to look at this fundamental conflict. On one hand, you could see a long career and a lot of wealth as signs of someone who's an experienced and effective leader. But on the other hand, and this is the side the source is pushing, you can see those exact same things as proof of an entrenched, out-of-touch ruling class. It's presented as if you have to choose one of those two views.
And really, that brings us to the big question that this whole commentary leaves hanging in the air. This isn't just about one politician or one protest, right? It's about a much bigger idea in our system of government. In a democracy, where is that line between experienced leadership and entrenched power? That's the question the video ultimately wants you to wrestle with.